Hey, yeah. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy Pharaoh the Gab. I got five. Let's talk. And as always, it's real talk, raw talk. Y'all know it's that time again to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend, to share, like, and subscribe. Don't hide. Them buttons ain't got no teeth. So go ahead and reach. Support the channel. Support your boy. And above all, man, support the motherfucking movement. Yes, indeedy. Welcome to another episode of I Got Five. Let's Talk. We've been gone for a while, like I said, on a couple of videos that I did, man. Job got switched up, man, you know what I'm saying? So we on a different time right now. But today we jumping right into it though, man, you know what I'm saying? Like to do it fluid, man, getting right into the angle. Excuse me for having everybody waiting today, transportation ain't always the best when you on that Bezos. With that being said, welcome everybody, man. New, old, friends, frenemies, and enemies, man. Welcome to the show, to the platform, the podcast, where we keep it fair like a California bear. We ain't no California raisins. We ain't doing no hating. All those that's new, please hit that like button, that share button, and that subscribe button, man, to keep you live and indirect. Because I'm always in your set, man. With that being said, let's get right into it. The Epstein files. The Epstein files. It's been a lot going on and a lot being said with the Epstein files. But, what I find quite interesting is when it comes to these Epstein files, they keep, like, this is how you know it's a smokescreen. Excuse me. This is how you know it's a smokescreen, right? Because every time they say they're going to release the Epstein files, instead of them releasing files pertaining to the motherfuckers that we already know that's on the list, they coming from far. Oh, this is what they want to see. They want to see Jay-Z on here. No, we don't. We want to know why Oprah was on there so many times. Why Bill Gates was on there so many times. We want to see the emails of why Bill Clinton had modeled for a painting in the Monica Lewinsky dress. Why? We want to know. Like, those are the type of motherfuckers that we want to know about. But since they want to keep talking about this and talking about that, I think it's only fair that the world had made this man one of the most sought after, most well-known pedophiles, allegedly. This is the only person that even in death, they're still coming after him for sexual misconduct, sexual assault. But you have motherfuckers like the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch that's too old to stand trial. What? How the fuck does that work? They tried to put Mike in jail. We know everything that went on with that. The lady needed. And that's another thing. How come they never just came out and was like, you know what? We was wrong or sorry or anything. They wrong. Michael Jackson was undoubtedly recognized as the biggest pedophile in music industry. This is what they tried to label him as. This is what they tried to stick him with. But we gotta ask though, if it was anybody that should have been in them files, as much as they said that Michael Jackson was a pedophile, he was doing all these things to kids. Why Mike ain't in these files? Why Mike? This the only person that, nigga, you don't have no red-handed, candid camera on this nigga. Mike was the one that always did what he wanted to do. I know niggas be like, man, you know, why they do Mike like that, man? Why they, you know, why you think they just don't always target Mike? Must I remind y'all, at the time of his death, at the time of Michael Jackson's death in 2009, Michael Jackson controlled or co-owned major publishing catalogs, which is different from owning master records, recordings. Publishing catalogs. So, nigga, you might own your masters, but anywhere you go get a publishing deal, even if it's with that company, I still get some of that. You can own your masters. This how smart Mike was. This how smart Mike was. So in 1985, Michael Jackson bought ATV Music Publishing for around $5 million. ATV owned the Northern Songs collection, which included most of the Beatles' songwriting catalog, Lennon and McCartney songs. 1995, Michael merged ATV with Sony's publishing to form Sony ATV Music Group. Now look at this. 85, the same year he buys ATV Music Publishing. That's now, mind you, when he acquired ATV Music Publishing, ATV owned Northern Songs catalog. This is the business and the catalog that owned Lennon and McCartney and the Beatles songs. Songwriting catalogs at that. In 10 years later, Michael merges ATV with Sony Publishing to form Sony ATV Music Publishing. Damn. Sony Records. That's what we made the deal with. And at the time of his death, he owned 50% of Sony ATV at the time of his death. I mean, well, Sony was half ATV, so why wouldn't he? He died 2009, 85, 95, 2005. For a little over 20 years, this man was running Sony. No matter who was on Sony for 20 years. For 20 years, this nigga was winning off of other people's song, not their masters. This is how you do it. This is something that I never thought of. You know how niggas go in there, they be like, oh, they want points on your album. Oh, give us the masters. No, Mike said, I just want the publishing rights. Whoever you get to publish it, I'm getting some of that. You keeping your masters, so why wouldn't you just say, all right, fuck it. Let's do a publishing deal. I still got my masters, though. And this is what set Mike different from everybody else. Mike wasn't trying to own your masters. Remember this shit him and Prince used to get into. I mean, you know, they used to get into it, but what Prince used to tell niggas? He told Nas. Nas asked him, let's do a song together. He said, you own your masters? You said, nope. He said, well, holla at me when you do. This was the long con that Michael Jackson was aiming for. And it wasn't like he was on the long con to make it worser or to fuck up the game. He was in the long con for the longevity of it. Important distinction. He owned publishing rights, meaning songwriting and composition rights. That means the publishing and how you structure the music. A lot of people might say he owed the Beatles masters. Nah, he just owned their publishing. Keep your masters, nigga, no matter what you do, nigga. I own the publishing to that. It's like trying to sell crack, right? But in order to sell crack, you need what? Coke. You need cocaine. So that's cool. You sell all the crack you want. I got the cocaine. That's what Mike did. Let's just put it in drug benefits. Mike had the coke, they had the crack. Mike said, cool, nigga, make your crack. Nigga, I got the coke. Nigga, this is mid-80s going, nigga, for a 10-year run, he doing this to Sony. He also controlled other major publishing catalogs through Sony ATV. Beatles, Bob Dylan, that's another big one. Another white person that's big. Elvis Presley, Marvin Gaye, the Rolling Stones, Eminem, and Taylor Swift publishing through Sony ATV administration. Taylor Swift, look at these white people that he owned a publishing. Nigga, the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Elvis Presley, the Rolling Stones, Eminem, and Taylor Swift. Only one black person on there, that nigga bought they shit, and that was Marvin Gaye. And at the time of his acquiring Sony and doing these things at Sony and making these deals and closing these deals, at the time, Sony was one of the largest music producers in the world, Craig. Not just Los Angeles, but in the fucking world. Y'all keep y'all masters. Y'all don't see what I see. Motherfuckers didn't see, them people didn't see what Mike was seeing. While y'all eyes was on the masters, his eyes was on the publishing. See, what made Mike different is Mike seen the greed, the tenacity for the greed of these people to own. Mike said, I'm cool with the owning, I just want to get paid off of it. I just want to get paid off of it. A nigga can't say nothing to Mike. Oh, you a dirty masters dealer. Nigga, this nigga own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white people publishing. We ain't even got into his old work. Now, Thriller and Bad was owned by Sony Music Group, Epic Records, right? But Mike owned 50% of Sony when he died. So he owned 50% of his masters, if not 70%. And see what they did, they allowed Mike to do this because they didn't think Mike was going to get no money off of it. They seen what Mike was accumulating and how he was doing it on the back deals. What did Eddie Griffin say when he was talking to the Beatles? That nigga said, hey, how much would you sell the Beatles for if you sold it? That nigga said 60. Mike gave the nigga 62 or 64. He said he was mad. Mike, you buy the Beatles? Mike said, you wanted 60. I gave you 64. I thought it was a good deal. Why was Paul and them mad at that nigga Mike? He also owned his publishing rights through My Jack Music. That's another entity that he owns. See, Mike was a smart motherfucker. I told y'all, while motherfuckers was worried about the masters and shit like that, the recordings, Mike owned all his publishing rights through My Jack Music. So again, you might win in the recordings and some of the masters, but bitch, Mike owned all the publishing. Publishing, songwriter, he owned. Masters recorded, mostly, Sony. But again, remember, Mike owned 50% of Sony when he died, and he owned ATV Music. So that's probably 70% of his masters he owned. Mike Jack Music catalog, his own songs plus others. A stake in acquired songs catalog. That's probably some whole other songwriting, country, nigga, Euro, Indonesia, you never know. Man, we get to his death. I don't know why his estate was sold. $750 million. Now Sony fully owns all of Mike's music. Fully owns all Sony and ATV, now called Sony Music Publishing. It's the smear campaign. Now, what I'm about to play to y'all right now is, I'm gonna show y'all. Y'all know how I get down, man. I gotta play the audio because I don't want to get banned. But now that I explained everything that Mike owned, everything that he controlled and was making money off of, you see, he was doing some shit that them other people was doing, but he was doing it good.
planned to buy Marvel, the comic business, back in 2001 or 2, I think it was. Let's listen to this.
8 years before he died. 8 years before Michael Jackson died. Listens to his thought pattern for Marvel.
Going to Universal and buy. We would own Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters, all the classics from Universal. Own all this stuff. And that would allow us to do a channel. Part of the Marvel channel can be not only the Marvel characters, but Marvel films, like the catalog. We could do anything we want, from restaurants to retail.
Listen to this nigga talking about Marvel, movies, retail. They wasn't even doing Marvel back then. Mike was a fucking visionary.
Now, you actually got the financing in place, I believe, for this deal. Then came the scandal court cases, and it all got put on the back burner. Disney ended up buying Marvel and doing exactly what Michael had predicted and making a fortune at it. Tell me about this. That was the second part, I think. About
like he said, once they got a hold of once he got a hold, they heard that conversation, they started looking back into what he owned and what he had control of. He was bigger than them. He was bigger than them peoples. See, Mike sat back while they was getting rich and doing the dirty deeds. Mike was like, I'm straight. I don't need to do that. And once they seen he was finna buy Marvel, like Morgan Pierce said, then came all the allegations. Why is that? They never want nobody to know about shit like that, though.
Michael Jackson almost bought Marvel. Back in the 90s, Michael was close to owning the House of Ideas. His dream was to make a live-action movie where he himself would play Spider-Man, although some producers said he was actually perfect to play Professor X in X-Men. Leave a like if you love his music.
It blows my mind that almost no former California inmate.
So if Mike was the biggest pedophile, right? If Mike was the biggest pedophile, if Mike was doing all this to kids, they wouldn't want Mike to go to court. They would want to blackmail Mike. Now, I know you may say, why you think that? You reach. But just think of all the people that they got in compromising positions and photos, and they can't speak out against certain shit. Make all the money in the world, but they can't speak out against nothing. They can't talk about certain shit. Comes out, people get, the gay allegations come out, this come out, pictures come out. Who you think they doing that to? Why they doing that? Because they can't control them. If Mike was the pedophile and a monster like they say he was, and they've been painting him to be all these years. Even in his death, why he ain't in the Epstein files. Now it said that he in the Epstein files has tried to save the kids. Keep them from going over. Come on, man. Hey, it's that time again to tell a friend and tell a friend and tell another motherfucking friend. Share, like, and subscribe. Yeah, man, you know, it's just good. Like I've always said, they expose themselves by not trying to expose themselves. This is the best you got on Mike? Is a picture with this dude that's already been verified that's AI Photoshop? Come on, look at the bullshit they got going on. They say the Island Boys was on the Epstein Island. Now, I do say you gotta watch motherfuckers that got unsourced wealth. But look at this, like they just do shit, man. AI a motherfucker. AI is a motherfucker. But y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know who it is, man. It's your boy Pharaoh the God, always on the job. I got 5 Let's Talk, man. As always, it's real talk, raw talk. I don't think Mike was doing none of the sort. I don't think Mike was fucking with no kids. I don't think Mike was doing none of that shit. I just really don't. But y'all let me know what y'all think though, man. You know what I'm saying? Leave it in the comments, man.